Welcome to the official YouTube channel for the Colin Cowherd podcast. Go on, hit that subscribe button if you're new so you don't miss any of our great football content this season. So let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys. They clobber Washington 44-22. I mean, Dallas had almost 300 yards in the first half. And they had a great, Dak had a great, Dallas is so good this year at the end of the first half. Like, they're so good. And Jayden Daniels got hurt, came back. Mariota had an absolutely dreadful pick six to give Dallas a 41-15 lead. But I will tell you right now, of all the surprises in the league, so I picked New England to be the surprise team in the league. I feel good about it. I picked Denver and Kansas City to win that division and go to the playoffs. Chargers third. I feel pretty good about that. I feel pretty good about my stuff. I had no idea. I mean, I didn't think Dallas would be good defensively. They may be the best offensive team in the league. They're situational. They're unbelievable at the end of halves. George Pickens, outside of Hufanga, and probably including Hufanga, is the steal of the offseason. I mean, a third-round pick for that guy. They had CeeDee Lamb back today. I'm blown away by Dallas. And Jayden Daniels doesn't look right. I don't think he's healthy. That was both of our concerns when he came into pro football. Could he stay healthy? I think Dak looks sensational. That offense is as fun to watch as any in the league. It is amazing what happens with CD and Pickens both. It just opens everything up for their tight end play. Their running back, Javonte Williams, looks like the Denver guy. So, I mean, Dallas is, I don't say this very often, I am shocked about how good they are offensively.
You could make the argument, and I'm not necessarily making it, but you could, that Brian Schottenheimer right now is the coach of the year. They trade Micah Parsons, what was that, 2 weeks
Right.
before, or a week before the start of the season.
Yeah.
Not a soul thought he should be the head coach, and every human being that follows football thought it was an embarrassment to name him the head coach. And then once he's named the head coach, they thought he'd be completely over his head. Well, offensively, he's the offensive play caller, and they are dominant. And then you get rid of Micah to add Pickens, who is a pretty big personality, who is going to shatter all of his personal highs. I mean, he's on pace for about 80 catches. I think his career high coming into the season was 5 touchdowns. He's already got 6. And it feels like on any given play, he can score. I mean, he's pretty dialed in. Now, I get it. He's a contract year. But those situations can be touch and go. CD comes back, seamless, just put them right back in. They hit the ground running. Offensively, they look like a juggernaut. Now, listen, Washington, the magic is out. I mean, defensively, they look terrible. Jayden needs to protect himself more. He's getting crushed. Obviously, they were missing wide receivers, but the magic from last year is on empty right now, Colin. And Dallas feels like they got a little bit of it. Now, defensively, are they going to be good enough big picture to compete for a wild card? I don't know that. But we all have to admit, Brian Schottenheimer has done a remarkable job as the play caller in managing this situation, which I don't want to say senile quite yet, but Jerry's pretty out there now in his mid-80s. Not an easy situation for a first-time head coach.
Yeah, and I think it's all because of Dak. I think Dak is just one of those guys, it's like everywhere Chris Paul in the NBA went. The Clippers, if you go back to when he came into the league, down in, was it New Orleans, and then the Clippers and Wake Forest, and everywhere Chris Paul went, they remember Phoenix for years. They had, Booker, and they were terrible. And then Chris Paul got there, and his 16 points a game, and his IQ, and his toughness, and his distribution. It's like everywhere Chris Paul went, your basketball team got better and smarter. Like, let's just be honest about Dak. He's played so many snaps at Mississippi State and Jerry, whether it's Dez, Tyron Smith, Zeke, Zach Martin, it doesn't matter. Amari Cooper, if he's upright, they win double-digit games. I mean, I think he's been sensational, and I think it's just like anything else. I don't care if you're a dentist, a sportscaster, a quarterback. You do something long enough, you don't have to think about it. And he did this a couple times today where clearly the first 2 people weren't open. You're watching his head. They're not open. And you can his sense of the pocket and pressure is so good. He doesn't get nervous. And he's also a big guy. I mean, Dak, to the average person in America, even among pro athletes, Dak is big. He's thick. When guys get older, these pros, they've been in a pro weight room forever, and they also eat. And so quarterbacks aren't cut. Quarterbacks, they've got pudding. Dak's a big human being. And I just watch him when the pocket collapses. He's totally comfortable. You know, he's just a really, really good football player, and I don't think there's a lot of. I think he has really great tight ends. I will say, Javonte Williams, the running back, has returned to that early Denver form. He's pretty damn explosive. He doesn't go down with one tackle.
Listen, their defense is a major question mark, but the one reason I was just thinking, like, I can't totally write them off. The kicker they have is a major weapon. So
Yes.
this is not college football. A lot of your games are just going to be within the balance of a score. And if you get 20, 30, 40 seconds on the clock and you're down, 2, 3 points, that guy can hit from 70 yards. I think Burkhardt, he blasted a 62-yard field goal today. He's like, that would have been good from 80. I mean, he is. I don't think we've ever seen anything quite like it. Now, I get it. These kickers have access to the balls Monday through Saturday, but is that really making a 10-yard difference? It's remarkable whatever these guys are doing, and that guy is the cream of the crop right now because his ball doesn't even move in the air. It's just right down the middle, 65. You don't even think about it. And how good are they? Like their red zone packages with Brian Schottenheimer, guys
Oh,
wide open.
excellent.
It's been really, really impressive to watch. Sometimes if you miss your window, I think sometimes in coaching, right? This sport's pretty fickle. An injury here, all of a sudden you go from a hot name to a negative name. Maybe, he was somewhere in the middle. He maybe got a little too hot when he was young, but he kind of fell off the radar. You remember he got with Russell Wilson, he got fired there in Seattle, and he kind of fell off the map. But clearly, like this guy knows a little something about offensive football.
Football season's here, and if you want to go to an NFL or college football game, Game Time is the place for you. The Game Time app just gives you the advantage back to you, the fans. It's a hack for unlocking amazing tickets and experiences in a few taps. I love it. Easy to use. The Game Time guarantee means you can trust you'll get 100% authentic tickets on time and at the best price. 100%. So they even let you preview your seat on the app. That's special. Plus, fees are always included. So what you see is what you pay every time. Take the guesswork out of buying professional football tickets with Game Time. Just download the Game Time app, create an account. If you use the code Colin, Colin, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply again. Create an account, redeem code Colin, $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today. Yeah, I think their red zone packages are late half are really, it's like, I mean, honestly, it looks a little bit like Denver and a little bit like Kansas City. Like there's just, when you get into a congested area and there's guys wide open, that's coaching.
Yeah.
And I think Dallas deserves a ton of credit. I want to talk about Ohtani before we leave and some college football. So the Eagles beat the Vikings 28-22. It was an interesting day because Jalen Hurts was actually great down the field. That's been the big knock. They can't run the football anymore. They literally cannot run the football. Jalen has heard what people have said. He's a super competitive guy. Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown. I mean, it was big game hunting. Carson Wentz is Carson Wentz. He's just, but Jalen in the end was 19-23, perfect passer rating, 326 yards, and anything over 10 yards, he was exceptional. I've kind of come to terms with Philadelphia. It's always going to be a leaky faucet because there's some limitations. But there's so many ways to win in this league from a quarterback. There's the movers, there's the big guys. I mean, right now, Joe Burrow can't stay healthy, and we both love Joe Burrow. Like, Jalen Hurts stays healthy. Jalen Hurts leads. Jalen Hurts is pretty damn good over the top. He's got that Russell Wilson thing in his prime. He's pretty damn good over the top. He runs. He's great on the tush push. And I've just kind of come to terms with when they're healthy, they're not great at corner, but when they're healthy, a lot of their games are going to look like this. They're just going to have bad stretches. It will almost be like if the Dodgers didn't have as good a starting pitching. They would have bad stretches if they face good pitching. Like he's not gifted enough in the pocket to get easy completions. It feels like everything kind of feels like work. Now they can't run the ball anymore. But I thought this game today, the Vikings off a bye at a tough place to play, Philly's a little beat up. I thought it was a pretty impressive win.
Did any two plays sum up Jalen Hurts more than at the end of the game? They ran a slant. I think it was like 2nd and 10, and he throws it behind A.J. Brown. And you're just like, oh my God, they're going to have to punt, and the Minnesota's going to get. And then the next play, they run the double move, fake the slant, and he goes, hits him in stride. And you just went all game long. He hit Devontae Smith on a deep bomb for a touchdown. Early in the game, he hit A.J. Brown. And then when it was all on the line, they put it in his hands, and he came through really on second and third down. They trusted him enough. So I would say this, it was a good moment for the OC to just kind of get everyone. They're not going to be able to run the ball because their center's banged up, who's a little bit of an overrated player, but their star guard, Dickerson's out. And their right guard situation has been in flux because they couldn't pay Becton. He leaves. So last year, their interior offensive line, we know their tackles, they said arguably the best offensive line in the league. And Saquon, let's face it, like pretty motivated last year, pretty big chip on his shoulder, wins the Super Bowl, doing a lot of commercials, living life now. Life's good.
Yeah.
And I totally understand. It's hard to be motivated. He got to the pinnacle. He proved to the Giants they were wrong. He doesn't. Maybe there's just a natural wear and tear on the tires. Like we've seen now 2 years in a row. McCaffrey a couple years ago, Saquon. When you have this historic number of touches, usually a little slower the next year. Everyone's beelining it on you. But here's what you know about the Eagles and when Jalen's on. How many teams have Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown? I mean, it's like, just get those guys the ball. You're unstoppable. I bet Howie's up there in the box always like, just throw these guys the ball. Throw go routes.
Yeah,
That's the thing. Like, go deep. Unlike Bo Nix, he has a lot of touch on deep breaking routes.
What's amazing about Philadelphia's offense is last year they would just squish people with time of possession. They didn't have the ball. I mean, the Vikings had the ball. I mean, if you were casually watching this game in the red zone, every time you turn on, it felt like Minnesota had the ball. Carson Wentz
was atrocious at parts of this game. There were
horrible
guys wide open. He was bad.
He was bad. And again, they wanted Sam Darnold. You and I know that. They wanted Sam Darnold. I mean, the J.J. McCarthy thing, he can't stay healthy. So Minnesota has been well run since the 70s, and they have, like Buffalo. Now, Buffalo's had long stretches where they were really a mess. I mean, Jim Kelly years were great. The Josh Allen years were great, but they had a lot of lean years. They had lean decades. I mean, New England went 12 years, just beat them twice a year. Minnesota's been like Kansas City. They've been playoffs or borderline playoffs for most of my life. It's just when you get Mahomes, it changes everything. Minnesota's just waiting for that great quarterback. They probably should have signed. It was hard. They gave up a fourth and a fifth to move up to get J.J. McCarthy. I think they wanted to sign Sam Darnold, but Sam's like, you drafted a guy. I want to. I mean, Sam and his agent made the right call, but now you're trapped. You kind of have to play J.J., and I think inside the building they have real doubts about it.
I think Breer talked about this last week. You kind of resurfaced. They had tried to go all in for Drake May. Did you talk about that last week on your show? Like they had offered, I think, their 2 first-round picks and the next year's number. Like they put an enormous package, and the Patriots smartly just said no. But let's face it, like they do feel now, and you have Kevin O'Connell, so you never know. Like you found Sam Darnold, like they could find a Purdy type, but they could have a little couple years of like being like the Colts right now, because you're like, Wentz definitely is not it. I mean, this is a 6th team in 6 years.
Right.
And let's face it, at this point in time, how could you have any faith in J.J. McCarthy just to stay healthy, let alone be a good player? So you watch them, you go, their personnel's pretty good, their coaching's good, but if you don't have a quarterback, I mean, there were guys, even on the one that Hawkinson, they called a drop. I thought it was a catch, but I get the rule. He was wide open, and Carson like does this like sidearm like he's Chuck Knobloch. Just lob him the ball and have him catch it in the bread basket. What are you doing? And that cost him. And but that's like Carson Wentz, your quarterback. It's 2025. What are you going to do? JJ comes back next week or in 2 weeks. They got problems. That stability at that position, because you can watch at any moment. The players around him. I mean, Justin Jefferson's spectacular. Honestly, the talent relative to the Eagles was pretty equal. So the quarterback play, the gap was how he had to feel pretty good. I got rid of that guy for this guy, and I won.
Yeah, no question.